I watched, so one of the documentary, or the film festival that I was a judge at recently, had a documentary by a buddy of mine, John Popola, whose company Emergent Orders does some really great work a lot of the time. But they did a short documentary on Lenore Skenazy, who wrote the book Free Range Kids, which I don't know how many people in the audience are interested in it, but it's a very cool book about what Jen was kind of talking about, which is letting your kids get out there and do stuff on their own. And as a parent, being somebody whose job it is to sort of foster those opportunities to let them be more and more independent rather than more dependent, which I think a lot of people did. But one of the documentaries ultimately, it's only like 10 minutes long, but it's about an episode in Lenore Skenazy's life, which was sort of the impetus for her writing this book in the first place, where her kid, she lives in New York City, and her kid, I think at 11, I want to go back, he's fairly young. He might have even been younger than that, but I think 11, said he wanted to ride the subway by himself. He wanted to go to school all by himself and didn't want anybody, like he wanted to feel what it's like to do that, and felt that he was ready. It was kind of like talking about, like, Paul, if your boy is 5 and ready to watch a movie, I don't know, maybe so, who knows? But like, he made the case, he convinced Lenore and her husband to do it, and they wrote it a couple times together. She sort of made sure that he was aware of everything, and here gave him a phone, so if he got lost or if anything happened, she'd come get him and pick him up or whatever. And he did it, and and it was perfect, and it was just fine. Nothing went wrong. He got there and back, got home, and he felt incredible as a result, because here is a young boy for the first time doing something on his own, and like actually feeling the pride of accomplishment for doing this thing, which is fantastic. But then Lenore wrote she's a writer, and she wrote this story for, I don't remember, New York Magazine or somebody, about doing this. And then she got just endless mountains of hate mail about how she's the worst mother in the world. Her story, and this is the thing, I didn't know about this story until I watched this documentary. Her story got turned into a villain of the week, or a pulled from headlines villain of the week on Law and Order, where a horrible mom lets her kid ride the train alone, and then the kid gets murdered, or what, like kidnapped and murdered or whatever. And when Law and Order made the show, they made the kid in the show laying on the coroner's table look like her son. Like, they actually like took the picture of her son and like basically put her son in the thing. It was insane. Like, it was totally insane. Not okay.
First off,
yeah.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Like, that's not okay.
Oh no, it was cruel. It was like shockingly awful. But I'm like, but here's the thing. Nothing bad happened to him. He accomplished something and became a more independent person as a result. But like, our whole society, a lot of times, including things like Law and Order, want to make it seem like every single thing you do is terrifying, dangerous, and right. You should always be controlled or parented.
I don't know if you experienced this when you were up in DC, but when I was on the Metro, I would see kids all the time with no parents.
When I was in New York City, it was the same thing.
Yeah. And there's never really any real.
Yeah. But you know where you didn't see that, though? You didn't see it with like the Upper East Side kids. No. You didn't see it with like the Bethesda kids.
Arlington? No.
Right?
If you saw a kid, there's always mommy right next to him.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, no. It's weird that
must be nice to have that kind of time.
Well, right. I mean, but that's funny to me, because it's like the most upper crusty people, like the most wealthy people, are like weirdly the most overprotective. And it's kind of this like, what is it? The hard men create good times, good times create weak men create bad times, sort of that kind of cycle, right? But I kind of feel like that's what you see here, which is like there are people a generation or two in the past of some of the people that we're talking about who were, like Andrew Carnegie started working at like 8 years old, and he was running a railroad at like 20, 20 or 22 or something, literally running a railroad. Like, it's insane. He became like the head of the railroads department at one point, or like a regional department or something. Anyway, it was crazy, but he was able to do that because he was basically by himself. I mean, he landed, he was from Scotland. He came to New York pretty much all alone as a small boy, and immediately went to work and immediately started developing those skills. Built, one of the greatest fortunes of all time, built, a legacy of philanthropy, all this stuff, right? And then, now I'm sure his great grandkids or whatever are probably not doing anything even close to that at this point. I can't imagine anybody doing anything but it's like, you see that kind of thing, but it's not just about the expectations, but it's your expectations for yourself, right? It's understanding like that you're going to be independent at some point. So start now, start young, but
yeah.